It feels so good to be back here. Thank you so much, Wine Spectator, for having me, and Marianne for that lovely introduction. It feels so good to be back, and we were here 3 years ago. I was on this stage presenting as a wine star, and I see some familiar faces in the room. While many things have changed over the past 3 years, one thing is for sure: we all still love wine. We all still love being out. That's why we are here. Most of you may know my story in golf. It is what led me to learning about and loving wine. When I was 10 years old, I was taking free lessons in Miami from one of the golf's most prominent instructors, Jim McLean, and I got my start through the first tee of Miami. I came from very, very modest beginnings. And we didn't have very much, but it was because of the people in my life who helped me along the way that I was able to begin in golf and have the career that I had had. To say the least, I have had some lucky breaks in my life, but they were supported by a fierce determination and work ethic to become the best that I could be. It was also because I worked harder than almost anyone that I refused to give up. I chased my dream. Along the way, many years after that, I was bitten by another bug called the wine bug. And little did I know at the time, but this would become another dream of mine. Lightning had struck twice. I saw traveling the world as a gateway to knowledge, as a way to learn about this newly found passion of mine. But it was because, and always was, the Napa Valley that inspired me the most, that filled my heart. Maybe it was because I had the opportunity to play golf there. Maybe it was always the time of the year that the tournament was happening, always right before harvest. But every time I went to Napa, it felt like I was coming home. If you were in this room in 2018, you know that it was through the relationships we made over those many years that I got my start in wine, and I got to meet Suzanne Pride Bryan of Pride Mountain Vineyards, and in 2009, we made a limited production wine called Curvature. The goal was to survive at least 5 years and to raise money through the proceeds of Curvature for breast cancer research. That brand still lives on today. And through an 11-year partnership, we have helped to create a grant for research at Stanford Hospital in San Francisco for research to eradicate this disease. And now, also, we have the Cristie Kerr Women's Health Center in Jersey City, just a short drive from here, where there have been over 100,000 exams done, regardless of a person's ability to pay. I love creating Curvature so much, and it was inspired by my mother, and we were blown away by how it was welcomed into the wine space. From there, we knew it was only the beginning, and my husband and Eric and I launched the brand to share a passion for fine wine in 2012, Kerr Cellars. Our inaugural 2013 vintage was a smashing success. We came out of the box with high scores from Wine Spectator, and we knew we were on the right path. This wine passion, the bolt that struck my heart for a second time, was validated. And a lot has changed since those first few years. Our presence on the world stage has grown. Although we are a micro producer at just under 5,000 cases, our sole focus is on crafting the best wine that we can every year. We have an amazing team around us at Kerr Cellars, and together we bring our signature line, Kerr and Curvature wines, to the world. And while golf is an individual sport, the best times in my career are when I've been able to be a part of a team, Solheim Cup with our wine team, and now I get to be a part of that team every single day. We had just 5 wines between Kerr and Curvature when I was last a Wine Star presenter, and now we make over 11 different wines depending on the vintage. We have become a well-rounded winery with a solid core appellation portfolio as well as diverse single vineyard expressions. Our obsession is to highlight unique vineyard sourcing and let the wines speak for themselves. We believe these great wines are made in the vineyards and not in the winery. We want to showcase these special California varietals for the wine stars that they are. With the continuation of high-scoring wines and obsession for creating best single vineyard terroir-driven wines, we have earned the respect of fellow vintners and have been able to secure and fortify relationships with world-renowned growers in Napa and Sonoma counties. And as you may have gathered, we are negociants. We are a custom crush winery within the winery Cuvison. Just a few of the special vineyards we have had the privilege to work with include the Beckstoffer, Missouri Hopper Vineyard, George's III Vineyard, these vineyards located in Oakville and Rutherford, the Manzanita UV and Silver Eagle Vineyards in the Sonoma Coast from the Ulysses Valdez family, and the Napa Vineyard in the Stag's Leap region of Napa, and that brings us to the wine in your glass today. Our 2018 Napa Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon from Stag's Leap region in Napa Valley. And this is one of my favorite AVAs, the rocky soils, just the beautiful fog that rolls over the hill. Just under where Realm and Moonracer are is this vineyard, and across the street is Stag's Leap. So pretty great sourcing and location, and we were fortunate enough to source these grapes through our partnership with Constellation Brands, who have rededicated their company to fine wine and experiential brands. So we're one of just a few wineries that get to source this beautiful fruit, and the 2018 vintage was fantastic for Cabernet. The conditions were ideal and harvest was long and slow. Spring was pleasant and mild, and temperatures remained pretty consistent and warm. To quote Wine Spectator, conditions were near picture perfect. We thought harvest would never end, but this was very welcome, though, due to the fires the previous year. So please take a moment to swirl and experience this wine on the nose and the palate. Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? But this wine, a very small case production wine of about 250 cases, presents cassis bud and dark plum, pencil shavings, dried aromatic herbs, a little bit of rose petal. And depending on if it's a root day or not, which I learned from Marianne in the Napa Valley with this biodynamic calendar that I still can't find online, sometimes there's a little bit of a black Kalamata olive to this wine. Beautiful crushed rock and mineral notes, amazing freshness. We hand harvest this wine at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because we want to retain that acidity and the freshness in the wine, along with this beautiful, vibrant fruit. It really showcases the rocky soils and complexity of the Stag's Leap region in Napa. And this wine is so young and vibrant, but will age incredibly well. So you may ask now what our vision for the brand is after tasting this exceptional wine. We want to keep doing what we're doing. Why? Because we're obviously doing something right. We get to make the wines that we want to make. We're a small winery. We take pride in that. And we never want to sacrifice quality for quantity. So we want to continue to strengthen our relationships with our growers and customers every day. We want to grow responsibly and, again, never sacrifice that beautiful quality. That was my vision when I started the brand, and I can say with certainty that will never change. I have the pleasure of doing live and virtual events across the country, and this is how we measure what's going on in the marketplace on a regular basis. One-on-one with real wine consumers such as yourselves. I personally host most of these, and this year between live and virtual events, we will do over 40 of them. We are constantly researching and paying attention to what the consumer wants and are taking an opportunity to reinvent the Curvature brand while positioning the signature Kerr brand for success. Our goal is to make inspired high-quality wines from the best sourcing and to share our passion for fine wine to people all over the world. This business takes a ton of grit, heart, and an equal amount of determination. I've been called a dreamer for wanting to be successful in the wine business at its highest level. And those people would be right. I do have big dreams, but then I go out and I get it done. Perseverance is one of my favorite words, not only in golf, but in this business as well. I have traveled the world learning about wine, and everywhere I go for playing golf or vacation, wherever there is a wine component to be had, I seek it out. To learn about the different varietals and differences and how little differences in climate or soil type can make the wine taste differently, even if it's the same varietal. With visiting so many countries, you get to appreciate different winemaking styles and philosophies, and I have an immense appreciation for the old world style of winemaking. What you get in a given year is what you get. Whether Piedmont, Tuscany, Bordeaux, Burgundy, the best vintners and winemakers let nature ultimately decide what the wine's fate will be, but tend to its needs. I love that. Nature cannot be put into a box, and neither should wine be. Vintage variation and specific sites are everything. Celebrating the differences between wines as well as discovering wineries all over the world is a lifelong journey for me. It will help my knowledge to grow, and it will make me a better vintner, and it will deliver a better product for you. I always wanted to make wine in California, though. Like I said, it always felt like I was coming home, and this is where I fell in love with wine. And at Kerr Cellars, we like to say we ultimately have an old world heart, in winemaking style, but that we are quintessentially California with its fruit. The past few years has made everybody reflect back to figure out what's important in one's life. And family and health obviously come first. I think back to the talented team we've assembled and the partnerships we have made through this incredibly difficult time. And we have not only been able to grow our staff from 3 people to 8, including myself in an operations role. Yes, I do logistics, I ship wine, I organize wine tastings, I do all that. But we have also been able to start a wonderful partnership with global wine and spirits leader Constellation Brands, who has rededicated themselves to the fine wine space. And we're excited to help them develop their new focus in this space. And it's been exciting to see the inclusivity that Constellation Brands brings to the industry. We're excited to learn from their team and what is next for Kerr Cellars. You know, on that note, being a woman in the wine industry, I can appreciate just how much hard work it takes to create a lasting brand. And at Kerr Cellars, we celebrate this diversity and inclusion. Maybe it's my Sicilian heritage, but I was taught to share memories, great food, and especially an amazing bottle of wine to celebrate life. So I want to thank you all for letting me speak to you, sharing our beautiful wines, and I hope you get to experience more of them and enjoy the weekend. Thank you.